Right, let's dive into some pretty epic stuff. Exodus 19, we're talking fire and smoke, a booming voice, the whole shebang.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Israelites arriving at Mount Sinai just 3 months after getting out of Egypt. And things are about to get really interesting because they're going to enter a covenant with God.
Right.
It's a pivotal moment that kind of echoes through history and, believe it or not, still speaks to us today.
It really does. It's fascinating how this sets a foundation for so much.
Yeah.
And it's not just a dramatic story, but it's a foundational moment for understanding commitment, responsibility, purpose, all of that.
So let's break down exactly what went down at Sinai, because it's not every day that you get a personal visit from God.
Right. And the way it unfolds is incredible.
Yeah.
So God lays out the terms of the covenant.
Okay.
He says, "Obey my voice, keep my covenant, and you'll be my treasured possession, a kingdom of priests, a holy nation."
Wow. That's quite a proposition. It almost sounds like a contract, but like a cosmic scale contract.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street, blessings for faithfulness. And you have to remember, these Israelites are fresh out of slavery in Egypt.
Right.
They're craving freedom. They're craving identity, a sense of belonging. So when God offers them this special status, this chance to be a holy nation.
They jump at it. It's like, sign us up. We're all in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where things get interesting, because it's one thing to make a promise in a moment of excitement, but living it out every single day, that's a different story.
Totally. Okay. So before we get to the living it out part, let's rewind to that arrival that you mentioned. The text doesn't hold back on the special effects, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's like God is orchestrating this grand entrance to make a lasting impression. So we've got the thunder, the lightning, a thick cloud engulfing the mountain, the earth trembling.
Wow. Talk about setting the stage. It's like you can almost feel the ground shaking beneath your feet just reading about it.
Yeah.
What do you think the purpose of all that drama was?
I think, imagine if you were one of the Israelites. You've just witnessed the plagues, the parting of the Red Sea, and now this.
Right.
So it's awe-inspiring, a bit terrifying, but undeniably powerful. And it's about creating a sense of reverence, highlighting how important what's about to happen is.
Yeah.
This isn't just a casual meet and greet. This is a life-altering covenant with the divine.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, do we create that kind of space for important moments in our own lives? Do we approach things with the same intentionality and, what you said, reverence?
That's a great question. That's a question worth pondering, because even in our modern world where we don't have mountains shaking, we still have defining moments, crossroads where we make commitments, big or small.
So the scene is set. The Israelites are at the foot of the mountain, probably a mix of terrified and exhilarated. God has made an epic entrance, and they're about to enter this covenant. What happens next?
Well, that's where the meat of the matter is. Let's unpack the details of the covenant, what it meant for the Israelites, and what it can teach us today.
So we've got this epic scene. Smoke, thunder, the whole mountain shaking. The Israelites are probably thinking, okay, we're committed. What next?
Yeah, and God gets straight to the point.
Okay.
This is where we get the famous phrase, a kingdom of priests, a holy nation.
Right.
And it's not just about, following rules.
Right.
It's a whole new identity, a purpose for their existence.
It's like a mission statement,
Yeah.
not just a list of thou shalt nots.
Exactly. It's about being set apart, representing something bigger than themselves. Imagine a whole nation acting as these intermediaries between the divine and everyone else.
That's a pretty big responsibility.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how we define purpose in our own lives, right?
Right.
Do we see ourselves as part of something larger or just focus on individual goals?
Such a good question.
Huh.
I think that sense of belonging, being part of something meaningful, it's something a lot of people crave, even today.
Okay, so the Israelites agree to this covenant. They're given this purpose. Does that mean everyone lives happily ever after?
Well, I wish it were that simple.
Yeah.
But remember that phrase, obey my voice?
Right.
That's a key part of the deal. This covenant comes with conditions.
So it's not just about accepting those privileges.
Yeah.
It's upholding those responsibilities that go along with it.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar, right?
Yeah.
Any relationship, there's give and take.
Exactly. And that's the challenge, both for the Israelites then and for us now.
Yeah.
Commitment is easy when things are good, when you're caught up in the excitement of something new. But when things get tough.
Yeah, because life throws curveballs. How do we stay true to commitments when things get rough?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And while the rest of Exodus, the whole Old Testament, shows just how challenging it was for them to actually live out this covenant.
Yeah.
There were moments of great faithfulness, but also times of rebellion and straying from the path.
Sounds a lot like, being human. We make promises, we stumble, we try again.
Exactly. It's that constant process, learning, growing, recommitting uh, to those values that really matter to us. And that's why I think this story is still so relevant. It's
Yeah.
not a fairy tale with a perfect ending. It's a reflection of our own struggles.
It's comforting, in a way, knowing that even those who entered a covenant with God had their doubts and failures. It makes commitment seem a little less daunting.
Absolutely. We're not expected to be perfect,
Right.
but to keep striving, keep learning, keep coming back to the core values that guide us. And I think Exodus 19 gives us a powerful way to think about that.
So we've talked about the drama, the commitment, the challenges. What about that feeling of awe we discussed?
Mhm.
The mountain shaking, the smoke, the thunder. It's hard to imagine witnessing something like that.
Absolutely. And I think that feeling, that awe, that sense of something bigger than us is so crucial. It's a reminder that there are forces at play that we may never fully understand.
And in a world where we feel like we need to have all the answers,
Yeah.
that's a pretty humbling realization.
It is. And I think that humility is essential, not just in our relationship with the divine, but also with each other and the world around us.
So Exodus 19, it's not just an ancient story about a covenant.
No.
It's almost a blueprint for how to approach life
Yeah.
with intention, commitment, and a good amount of humility.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about recognizing those moments that call for reverence, those commitments that demand our dedication, and those forces that, well, remind us of our place in the grand scheme of things.
So we've been talking about this incredible event at Mount Sinai, the drama, the covenant, the challenges. But let's bring it home. How does this ancient story resonate with us today?
Well, that's the big question, right?
Yeah.
Because while we might not be standing at the bottom of a smoking mountain, those themes from Exodus 19 are surprisingly relevant to our modern lives.
So walk me through it. Where do we see these ancient echoes in our 21st century world?
Okay. Well, let's start with preparation and reverence. Remember how God told the Israelites to purify themselves, to set boundaries around the mountain.
Yeah.
It was about creating space for something important, recognizing that not all moments are created equal.
So it's not just showing up, it's showing up with intention.
Exactly.
Like how we prepare for a job interview or a date. We put in the effort because it matters.
Right. But how often do we bring that same intention to other areas of our lives,
Right.
like our relationships, our work, our leisure time?
Yeah.
Do we create space for reflection, for connection, for those things that nourish us?
It's so easy to get caught up in the busyness of everything and just go through the motions.
Yeah,
But you're right. It's about creating those moments, those experiences that bring depth and meaning.
absolutely. And that leads us to that next theme, commitment.
Okay.
The Israelites made a covenant with God, a promise to obey, to live a certain way. It wasn't always easy, but they kept striving, kept coming back to that core commitment.
And commitment is hard, whether it's to a partner, a career path, a fitness goal, or even a personal value. There are always challenges, temptations to, stray.
Absolutely. But that's where the real growth is. In those moments when we choose to stay the course, to honor those commitments, even when it's hard. And sometimes it means being flexible, adapting our approach, but not losing sight of the bigger picture.
So like they say, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah.
And the Israelites wandered for 40 years. They had setbacks, they made mistakes, but they kept moving forward.
And that's a powerful lesson. We're all on a journey. There will be bumps along the way. The key is to keep learning, keep growing, and keep coming back to those commitments that give our lives direction.
Now, I can't let you go without talking about that incredible display of power at Sinai. The thunder, lightning, mountain shaking. It's hard to imagine seeing something like that.
Yeah, it's meant to evoke awe,
Yeah.
a sense of something huge and powerful beyond what we understand. And I think we still experience those moments of awe, even today.
You mean like standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon or watching a rocket launch?
Exactly. Or witnessing an act of kindness, a sunset, music that moves you.
Yeah.
Those moments remind us that there's more to life than our everyday worries. They connect us to something bigger.
And in that, there's a sense of humility, a recognition that we're not the center of everything.
Absolutely. And I think that humility is so important for navigating life. It lets us approach challenges with an open mind, connect with empathy, and appreciate the beauty around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Exodus 19, it's not just about a mountain or a covenant.
No.
It's about how we live our lives, with intention, with commitment, and, well, with a good amount of awe and humility.
Beautifully said. It's a reminder that even these old stories have wisdom for us today.